So give yourselves a woo. Woo! Oh, y'all are good. But you gotta get the hands going too. So okay, will you do it again? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Woo!
Woohoo! Good morning.
I love it. Woohoo!
Yeah, we do that when we're at our live luncheons and stuff. So the server, when she comes in or it could be, we have kind of one that's with us most of the time, and so we give her or him a woo, and I say, does anybody else ever give you a woo? And they say no. So just kind of a little appreciation, adds a little energy to the room. So woo to you. Thank you for being here. Nancy White, as y'all can see, the Healthy Cells chick. So how are you doing this morning?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. And I receive your woo and I give you a woo back. So
I received that. So Nancy, give us just a quick, we're not going to get into our subject just yet because we want to give everybody a chance, those last ones who are coming out of one meeting at one time, and get over here. But where do you live? Tell us just a little bit about you.
My little bit of my background. So Delinda, first and foremost, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your wonderful, fantastic way that you just reach out to women and others too. So, but thank you for allowing me to be a part of this today. So I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was born and raised here. My parents were from the North. We used to call my mother, she was from Maine, a maniac. But anyways, but I was born and raised in Charlotte as well as my children. And I have been an entrepreneur for over about 40 years. So, you know, we've got a lot of history behind us. Sometimes when we just stop for a moment and just reflect back, but my heart and passion is helping people in their healthy lifestyles, just, natural, preventative, healthy lifestyles. But just like you, I love connecting people, and we meet amazing people from around the world, and not only to use their resources, but to share also.
Absolutely. And you are a major connector. You have been just so generous. We had our Nancy and I've connected numerous times now over the last year. She invited me. She is a part of Win-Win Women and invited me to be on her show a couple months ago, I think. And that was really fun to do that. And just, and you've just been so gracious in introducing me to some of your audacious friends and that I have connected with. So you really are a connector. So thank you for those connections as well.
Absolutely. And I'll continue as I meet amazing people. I think, amazing needs to meet amazing.
I agree. And so I'm going to say before we start in, I want to do just a little commercial reminding everybody that we do have our Wow the World networking conference for Christian women in Las Vegas on August 4th, 5th, and 6th. Oh, Kathy says 2 superstars on the screen. Good morning, Kathy. So great to have you on here with us. So all of you who will be watching either now or if you watch the replay, do a little check-in and let us know who you are. You might have to do that. Well, you will have to do that little permission thing that StreamYard puts up there so we can actually see your name. And Michelle Cruz, good for you. Good morning. Nice to see you too. So we have our big conference coming up in August. There now, I think you can actually see it better. And the QR code is there, but it's really easy to get there. WowTheWorld2023.com. We'll take you right there to all the information that you need. And the amazing Kathy Weaver is going to be one of our speakers, as well as sharing MC host not really duties. That's the fun part. I love that part, don't you, Kathy? So we get to share in that together, and we flick and flack together pretty good. It's really fun. And good morning, Terry. Yay, Terry is here in Las Vegas. Michelle and Kathy are both in Kansas City area. So we're getting the cross country vibe going on here. So all righty. So ladies, as we get started, so I want you to just do a little favor for me. If you ever struggle with taking time to do self-care or self-love, put a number 1 in the chat box. I want to kind of see where y'all are. So, if it's easy for you and you do it all the time, you can put a 2. But if you struggle with finding the time or making the time to actually do some self-care, put a number 1 in the chat box and we'll see how we're doing with everybody this morning. So, Nancy, when I gave you the option of a couple of topics, you picked this one, fill your cup. So, why did you choose that? How did that resonate with you?
Because I can remember, Delinda, years back, especially as a new mom and just, living life, how I could really overextend or say yes too many times or just be doing so much for everybody else. Everybody else was always a priority. And then you'll be just sort of ragged out and getting sort of the leftovers. But when you mentioned that, I just thought back, I thought, I've learned some really great lessons over the years, and I still have to remind myself, just like we all do, how important it is when we are continually filling our cup up because we can't pour from an empty cup. And it's just like, even if you just have a cup and you just have a little bit in the bottom of the cup and it doesn't get filled up or whatever, it sort of spoils after a while. It's like, you know, but I think that really I identified with it, Delinda, when you had asked me about different topics, and so that was the reason, because I have been there, done it, and I still had to be mindful and be preventative as possible to keep filling that cup up every day.
Yeah, I agree. I think, and I did when you brought up, when we're raising our families, when the kids are young, especially, and
Mhm.
and they can't do too much by themselves, and you have to be with them every second, and then you still want to have a little bit of life as in addition to that. But sometimes that's the hard part as well. And just taking those times, it's like I remember thinking, can I just take a shower by myself? you know, because it does get kind of overwhelming
Mhm.
when we're doing that. It's wonderful, and we wouldn't trade it and all that, but it's just one of those kind of things that we have to stop and realize it in the first place. So,
Mhm.
what are some ways that you found that you do to fill your cup?
Well, one of my very favorite ways is just to spend that time with the Lord, that quiet time, just, where there's no technology going on, there's nothing else. It's just that one on one. Don't you love it? We have one on ones with everybody all the time, but having that one on one with the Lord every single day. And it's all throughout the day. It's just not once and done, but starting out my day, having that time just to get filled up, and especially with gratitude and with gratefulness, and just reflecting back, I think, is a great way too to help us to fill up, to see God's faithfulness. And then all throughout the day, we need those little, whatever you want to call them, a coffee break or refills. We're always filling our water glass up. So when you fill your water glass up, that's a good reminder just to go, Lord, I just love you so much, and I just need to be filled up again with you. So we get refills all throughout the day. And then at the nighttime, before we close our eyes, we know that the Lord gives sweet sleep to those that he loves, and we know he loves us. So that time before we go to sleep also is another time to get filled up again, because that's going to be our recovery time. So that's one of the ways that I really do it. But I also know that, when we've gone and we've been so busy, 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 and there's sometimes they're going, I just might need to take a little nap, like on a Sunday afternoon or whatever. Give yourself permission, going, the
Ah,
world's not going to end. You can lay down and take a nap.
no, isn't that the truth? It's like there's something about our society where how the world is that it's this badge of honor to put. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. And first of all, I am working very hard on not using that
Yeah.
because I think it's a cop out.
Mhm.
Just you just say, "Oh, I'm just so busy." But what are we? Where are we spending our time? And then the whole thing too of there's a little bit of guilt associated coming from wherever society, I guess.
Mhm.
That no, 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 you need to be doing something. You're not being productive. No, you shouldn't sit down and read a chapter of your book, or heaven forbid, sit there for a couple of hours and really enjoy reading a book. It's like, why do we do that to ourselves?
I think it's perceived, just like you said, because, and you and I both learned this a long time ago. The fastest way to discouragement is starting to compare yourself with somebody else, especially women to women. And so I think that's sort of that perceived idea that if you're not doing something, you're not being productive. Well, that time of being still can be so productive, even more so, especially if you're going through a healing process. I mean, there's times that, women especially, we've gone, we get burned out, and that's the truth. And then you do have to stop because you don't have a choice.
Yeah, somehow that just happens, right? You wind up in bed for a few days and it's like, oh man. When I had COVID back in November, Bill and I actually both got it when we were in Kansas City. And it's just, it took us 3 to 4 weeks. And so I wasn't online. I totally, it gave me a headache to even have the computer on for the first week. So it's like, okay. And then it's like, well, this isn't really so bad. I kind of enjoyed the restful part of it because I had to rest. I really had no choice. I couldn't do anything else. And so, I had to talk to myself and give myself permission to let it be okay. Isn't that weird? We have to give I don't know about y'all, but I have to give myself permission to do that sometimes. Like, Delinda, it's okay. You're sick or whatever it is, or you're tired, or you've been going for months, whatever that looks like in your life, and then just say, so I just take the time. This is my weekend, then I'm not going to get online, that I'm not going to do any technical stuff, social media or anything. And I've got to where actually I do not do much on the weekends because we're on all the time, right? That's what we do is do great one-on-ones, and we love that. But there has to be time when we do allow ourselves to fill the cup up of that whole thing. I mean, I think that is what is so important. Let's see what's over here. Okay, so Nancy, you might not know, but Alicia Adams is my daughter. So she's saying, hi, mommy, over there. What's taking care of yourself? So she's got a 4-year-old little boy, Henry, and he's had an ear infection, been sick all week. So she's really feeling that take me away, Calgon. Yeah. All of you listening out there, do you remember the commercials? Nancy, I'm sure you do. The Calgon, take me away. Like the woman's facing all this stuff all day. And then Calgon, take me away. And then she's in her bathtub with the bubbles, just relaxing. And sometimes we just have those moments, don't we?
We do. And I love it because on those really full days, that's my gift to myself is I take a bubble bath with some beautiful essence of oils and different things, light candles, put on some just beautiful music, and and I just lay there, and I'm going, I have to take a bath anyway, so you might as well make it fun and relaxing. And so just don't go to sleep and wake up later.
I have actually dozed off in the tub before. Didn't ever wind up under the water, but no. It was. Yeah. And again, here you are having to justify to yourself why you're taking this luxurious bath, right? It is crazy how we allow ourselves to get to that point. But the fact that you do at least stop and take that time. And for many of you, it could be maybe what fills your soul is just taking a walk, being outside. Now, I know in Kansas City, y'all have so much cold and snow, you haven't had a lot of that opportunity. But if you want to give us an answer over in the chat box, that'd be awesome. What's one thing you do or that you enjoy doing for yourself that really helps to fill your cup? Because the truth is, and Nancy said it earlier, you cannot give what you do not have. So if your cup is empty, if all the I did a video a while back about putting jelly beans in the cup, and every time you do something for yourself, you're putting jelly beans in. Pretty soon they overflow, and that's what you give to others, that overflow. But if you're not filling your cup and it's empty, it'd be like just taking a cup and you're trying to get that last drop out. But just sometimes you just can't, and that's when we experience that burnout that you're talking about. And we want to. The thing is, matter of fact, so far, I know everybody that's on the screen here, and some of you that are not making comments, but chances are I know who you are out there. And the I know that your heart is to give to others. You love other people. You are beautiful women that just love to give. But if we don't stop, and the verse I use for this is, when Jesus was asked, what's the greatest commandment? He says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and all your soul and all your mind. Then he said, and the second is like unto it, love your neighbor as yourself. So we have to love ourselves. Not in that, I think part of society also, the way they try to twist, you know how the world just tries to twist God's word. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so they want you to think, oh no, that's being egotistical and you're not supposed to love yourself and you're just being, you think you're all that. And the truth is, God wants us to love the person he created. He created us with these talents and gifts and everything that we are. So he wants us to love your neighbor as yourself. Love yourself as the person God created you to be.
Absolutely. When you look in the mirror and you see the amazing creation that he made, Delinda, we are loving him because we are his that he created. And going back before we go down the road too far, something that helped me several years ago was especially for women when we just, fill our schedules so full. And I really, for myself, to be able to plan, prioritize, and pace. We can put margin in our calendars and our schedules because sometimes we have very little margin and then life happens. And then there's that domino effect, and then we get bent out of shape because of that, things are not coming together the way we had them scheduled. And so, but prioritizing and pacing and putting in margin is something I really feel is very valuable because we're always going to fill up time if we've got it, just like we were talking about, but we need to have that time available to us.
Absolutely. So let me see if I understand what you're saying. Explain. So what's a way that you do that?
Okay, so for even like if it's for a family and you come together like once a week and you talk about like on a Sunday afternoon, everybody comes together to powwow and talk about your schedule for the week and what's coming up. And I always would let the youngest one go first, and because they need to be included and feel like they're part. And everybody talks about the things that are coming up. And then you see everybody's on the same page and that communication is huge. But then when we know what everybody else's schedule is because women are the ones, we're the ringleaders. And so, we want to make sure that when we're planning for ourselves too, and again, communicating, but prioritizing, sometimes we'll plan some things and we have to just stop and think, is this a priority for right now? Or is this something, especially when things are getting fuller and fuller for our schedules? And just, we talk to ourselves all the time anyways. All you got to do is be quiet for a moment and you'll hear it. But,
exactly.
But then prioritizing and then, so the planning, the prioritizing, and then pacing. And pacing again is making sure that you're going to flow with ease.
Mm-hmm. I love that. I think that's true. It's sort of like having an appointment for yourself, putting yourself on the calendar. I'm totally authentic. I keep telling myself that I'm going to, between appointments every couple of hours, I'm going to leave a space of 15 to 30 minutes. And then I'm going to take the dog out. I'm going to just walk her around the block because A, that would make me feel good. B, I need it. And she loves it. So, there's no reason why not to. But because I am a wimp when it comes to outside, if the wind's blowing 25, 30 miles an hour, I'm just not going to do it. And if it's raining, so I can justify many things. But I love what you were saying, like really building that in and so that we can take those moments. Because it does, especially when we're all sitting at a desk or on Zoom all day, looking at the computer, getting away from it, even getting away. Now I do get up and I go in and I refill my teacup or something, like that. And sometimes I'll throw the toy for her a couple of times, or, Bill and I will actually have a 5-minute conversation, just kind of depends on that. Let me go over here just real quickly. So a Facebook user, so I can't see your name, says, I like to do slow breathing exercises to fill my cup up. I love that, because I just, breathing is so healing for one. It calms your system. That's a great idea, because we need that deep breathing. Hey, Mary Helen, how are you this morning? Says, it's relaxing for me to get my nails and pedicure or have lunch with a friend. Yeah, now that's a great way of filling up your cup. I get to go get my nails done today, as a matter of fact. But I love, like, our ladies' luncheons. When there's a couple I go to a month, including our Fun Fearless Female lunch. And I love that. That does fill my cup. Just the energy, the friendship that's there. Sometimes I think, oh no, I have to go, but I haven't felt that at all, especially since pandemic. I'm just so happy we're out and we can go and do that. Jeanette, good morning. Nice to see you. Charcoal mask and relaxing bath. There you go. And Karen, good morning. I'd love to go right through and say, you would kill for a nice jacuzzi tub. Well, Karen, I know you. And you know what? I just bet in all your creativity, you could find a place for that tub in your house. I feel 90% sure you could do that. If you really want one, you could. And you know what, girlfriend? You deserve that. You deserve that. So go start figuring that out for yourself. Hi, Lisa. Good morning. I imagine Lisa's actually at the airport. The reason she's not with us this morning, Lisa is my co-host, our co-host, and she is flying to see her mother, who is not doing very well. Her mom has quite a few health challenges, and she fell the other night and had to have surgery yesterday. And so Lisa is on her way to see her. So safe travels, my friend. God bless you. And I think that catches us up with everybody. So, yeah. So it's so fun to see y'all making comments over there. Thank you so much. And then I see Tiffany is on here. And Tiffany, I'm going to be on her show on Wednesday night. It's afternoon here, evening there. And she has a Wednesday show. And you'll see that on my page. We'll be posting that. So I'm excited about being on her show. So what's fun, isn't it fun how we can just share and go on each other's things, and it builds our relationship, and it also builds that relationship with our audience as well. So it makes it really, really fun.
I think that's great. Well, an area, Delinda, too, that, we talk about filling up our cup all the time. We also have to be mindful about what we pour into and how that cup, is as we're filling it up and sowing into others' lives. Because sometimes, we can pour into another person, and it's sort of like one of the strainers or has, where it just has holes in it and you can just pour in. And we want to be mindful too about where we are pouring into from our cup.
And you make a really good point in that. What are we filling ourselves with? What are the? Now, I know a lot of you, because I hear it said, especially that have young children, sitting down and trying to read a book seems like an impossibility to begin with. But if you are reading books, what are you reading? Now, I love mysteries. I love female detective books. I like to watch those kind of shows too. But there are some, we just need to look and pay attention of what are we putting in? What kind of TV shows are we watching? What kind of books are we reading? They don't always have to be self-help books. So the thing is, if they're self-help books, I'm not really relaxing, because then I'm highlighting and then I'm taking notes. So that's not.
That's more homework.
That is work, exactly. So I'm trying when we're doing the fill the cup thing. It's like I'm not trying to. I want to totally relax. And most of my viewers know my way is watching movies. I love movies, and I can just sit and veg and watch a movie or two. Or I tend to do these binge. I find a series or something that I never watched, or maybe I watched it 15 years ago or something, and I'll go back and binge. Or the 5 now Rocky movies. I'll take a weekend and I'll just veg and watch those movies. But it is so relaxing because I don't have to think about anything. So it's finding those things that do help us to relax and just allow ourselves to rest. I think that's just the hardest thing for us, is just to let down. Like, okay, Delinda, it's okay. You can just chill out. You don't have to get up just because you're sitting here and you're feeling like you're not doing anything. You don't have to go in and put a load of clothes in the washer, right? Or, oh, maybe I should clean out the refrigerator since I've got an hour of time. Well, no, how about just let it'll manage itself. You'll get another time that you can clean out the refrigerator. But
It's not going anywhere.
It's not. I wish, like, where are the little fairies, the little brownies that come in and clean the stove or clean out the refrigerator or sweep the garage? But it's all still there. It didn't go away. Oh gosh. So, Nancy, what do you think? Do you have any thoughts on why we do that to ourselves?
Why we don't stop?
Right. Why we do the guilt thing, or why we don't take care of ourselves?
Well, I think, one of the first things I really feel is we have to know what a precious, amazing gift we are. I mean, we've been created for a wonderful purpose. And when we don't acknowledge that and just really love life, love yourself, enjoy yourself, like yourself, celebrate life, I think that's the one of the first things, Delinda, is that, we really do have to stop and acknowledge that there's only one of you. There's only one of us. And the world would be missing a lot if we weren't here. And people, I think, don't really believe that, but it's so true. I mean, just even asking a few of your close friends, your children, your husband, what would your life be without me if I had never been in it? That's an interesting question to think about. But I think loving yourself and cherishing yourself and being a good steward. I mean, really, we're responsible for these temporary temples until we get our permanent maintenance free one. But, we take care of all of our other stuff. We refresh our computers. We, reformat things. We put in new programs. We do all this for all of our stuff. Well, then we're just as valuable, we're more valuable than all the stuff that we take care of. And so I think until we just really realize, and we've seen, all of us have seen, we are one breath away. We're not guaranteed tomorrow. We better enjoy today and love today and do whatever we can, because I think that's one of the things I think take for granted sometimes, that while we're here.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And so basically, the movie Wonderful Life, where Jimmy Stewart, he gets to see the impact that he made in his life. So if you think, I don't know, that is very deep to try to think about what would it be like if you weren't here. But we are, because the truth is, we are making a difference every day. But what is that difference? It's either going to be, it's one thing or the other. And I don't want to be the other. I want to be the one that's making a positive impact in the world, the one that's making a difference and uplifting people and having that positive attitude that just helps to lift others with you. And it's a heck of a lot more fun, too.
It is. It's uplifting, and really it's extending your longevity potential, because when you have that joy and that laughter, and it is so healing. But when you do those little deeds of kindness, I had one of my neighbors was gone for about 2.5 months to Guam to visit her parents. And just, when they came back, they had a 20-hour flight. And I know it wasn't just me, but I just had that nudge, said, make them a big pot of soup and take it over, because, they've been gone for 2.5 months. Their kitchen is empty. They're coming in. And just those little deeds of kindness sometimes, Delinda, that is a way that we get filled up also, is doing that something for somebody else for no apparent reason other than just to extend that deed of kindness.
Mm-hmm. And I think when we get those promptings, so like you were just talking about, Nancy, when we get those promptings, that's the Holy Spirit talking to us, because, the Spirit knows what's going on with everybody else. So when we feel that, it's because they need that. So like the bowl of soup coming in, I bet that just meant the world to them. Because they'd have to go to the grocery store or something. They wouldn't even really have anything there at the house, or go out for one more meal. That's probably the last thing they'd want to do.
Yeah.
So when we feel that, whether it's sending a card or making a phone call or sending a text, like just thinking of you today, whatever that might be, is such a nice way to be making a difference. And it does. You're right. It gives us joy, fills our cup to do kind things for other people. I have a something. It's not really an ebook, y'all, but it's called it's a workbook. I guess that's more what it is. Get Lisa, my marketing person, to tell me the right things for these. But anyway, it's called a 30-day journey to greater self-love. Mm-hmm. And it's all about just every day there's an idea on what you can do. And there's actually 31 days in there. And if you don't like the one that's on day 5, you'd rather do day 6, that's okay. And maybe you'd rather do day 21 on day 1. So I always say kind of look through it. And if you would like one, then maybe what I'll do is I'll just post it. So I'm going to look away from the screen for a minute to get my link. And Nancy, you have any other comments while I go look? I have it over here on the other screen. I just need a quick minute to find it.
I think what you're offering is so fantastic, because we need to have those little tips from other people sometimes that, that has worked well for them. And then also have some fresh ideas. Because I don't know about you, but, after you've been cooking for 50 something years and doing different things, you're going, I think I'd like to have a fresh idea about something different to try. So Delinda, I think that's so thoughtful and kind of you, just to be able to give us something that, it could be a brand new idea, and who knows, it might become a fantastic brand new habit.
Well, right. And if you have ideas you want me to add to it, because this is, it can be an ongoing project. I could do 60 days. I just need 30 more days of ideas, so you'll be giving me your ideas as well. So anyway, it's free. It's just a little thing. And I don't know that I've ever done that, which I'm thinking in 5, we're now in our 6th year. I don't know if I've ever done any like giveaway little free things. I should do that more often. I think I'm going to put that on my intentional list. To give away some of those things that might help y'all. So, well, I have loved this, Nancy. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here. This has been amazing. I do want you to come back. So I'll be reaching back out to find another date, because you are just such a blessing. And I want to, on the very first thing that you started out with this morning, talking about how spending the time with the Lord, that is the best way, greatest way to fill our cup. And I love that you mentioned that, because I agree with you. I think that is the basis of everything. As Christian women, when we are really spending time with the Lord, and I love the one-on-one. So I'm going to think about that. One-on-one with Jesus every day, And I'm going to share something else that you said last week in our one-on-one. And Nancy and I were talking, I don't even know, about variety of things. And my prayer when I wake up in the morning, after, I say, good morning, Lord, and I'm grateful and thank you that I'm alive, for one, as to make me a blessing every day. And Nancy, you have what you do every day. And I've been thinking about that all week. It's like, so tell us what that is.
So first thing when I get up and put my feet on the floor, I go, yay, Lord, I'm back. What do we get to do today? And so those are the things every single morning that, I want to start out the day with that thankful heart, and just, with that great expectation that good things are going to be happening in that day. And even when pewy things do come into our paths or whatever, which is normal for everybody, then those are the times when we just have to stop for just a moment and acknowledge, and, as a woman too, that is under the precious blood, we put on that armor, we just come up and we just stop and just pray and listen. And then if the Lord lays something on your heart too, Delinda, just like, if you need to call a friend, or if he lays somebody else on your heart that you need to get in touch with, or just say, then we need to be obedient. And that's the main thing. You're talking about the to-do list and taking actions and steps and all those things. We just want to be obedient to whatever the nudgings are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I love what are we going to do today, Lord?
What do we
I
get
love
to do?
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. What a blessing. And so, everybody, want to thank you, of course, for being here because I know you have lots and lots of choices. And the fact that you spend the time either now, which a lot of y'all are, or the fact that you come back and you watch the replay later on at your convenience. I just so appreciate you, love you, and just know that we are really here to uplift each other and encourage each other because we're more powerful that way. God can just think of how God uses all of us women to make a difference in the world. And we do it better when we're together, when we're just coming together in a big, okay, big group hug, everybody, as I've given it out this morning. So thank you so much. Lisa, safe travels for you. God bless you. We'll be praying for your mom. And look forward to seeing all of y'all next week. Every Tuesday, we're here. And I guess that's it for the morning. So thanks for being here. Remember that life is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of choice. Choose wisely and choose this week to take care of yourself. Do something to fill your cup. All right. Bye, y'all. Thanks so much. See you next time.